Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and this is the Piracy Show. Now, on today's show, we have been reset once again, and this has cleared up a lot of things. I haven't seen any interdictions so far. They may be there, but I guess they're happening a lot less frequently if they are. And so, we're kind of starting again from scratch. Now, that means, of course, that we're in the pea soup spacesuit with the little arc light, pea shooter on our hip. Not the best position to be in, and we got to get started. We got to get some credits. We got to get some armor. We got to get things sorted out. And this is always kind of like a bit of a vulnerable position when we get reset like this, because it's always like, ooh, those first few trips can be a little bit iffy. Now, in the beginning, I kind of go off. I take 5,000 UEC, I quickly turn it into 8,000, and now I kind of want to make a little bit more money per run. So I kind of cut that first run out, and we're going to be doing our second run, which is from Bountiful Harvest and to our later home, Grim Hex. Now, as I'm approaching Bountiful Harvest, I notice, once again, this is an unregulated landing zone, that there is somebody else on approach. And so I kind of kill the speed and move over and switch things into stealth mode. Probably saw me, or at least got some kind of audio alert saying contact, but they don't appear to react. Instead, they seem to be going into land. And now I am in kind of a position of advantage here. I mean, I could swoop in and take this person out, but would I get them before they got off their ship and before they got parked into the location? Maybe, maybe not. But I'm here, I want to make money, and the idea of having to go into this location and possibly having to dig someone out of there with just an arc light pistol, not all that attractive of an option. So I'm gonna kind of play it a little bit more cautiously, and I'm going to move off in stealth mode, park the ship not too far away to where I can see this other cutlass on sensors, and then wait for them to move off, and then move in, make my purchase, and then get out of there. I guess in the end, it kind of comes down to profit. I mean, what could I possibly get from, especially at this stage of the game's development, what could I possibly get from just going in and taking advantage of the situation and just blowing up this guy's ship, and then what? I mean, do I get his cargo? Maybe a couple of crates would drop out of it, like the little carryable crates. That's just going to interfere with my cargo capacity when I'm trying to load up all the stuff that I want to purchase into my ship. Now, I could put them in the front of my ship. I could do this, I could do that, but that would take time, and that would leave me exposed for that much longer while I'm doing it. And then someone could, in turn, come down and blow me up, or this guy could make it back in time and take his revenge. Who knows? And, I mean, in the end, if he's out of his ship, then I have to, go and dig him out with a pistol while I'm wearing this friggin' wetsuit for protection? No, not a winning combination. And it's that sort of thing that kind of elevates this game and puts it up on a different level. Is, if we were playing Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatever, it just doesn't matter. It's just shoot them up all the time. But here, there are actions and there are consequences. Plus, if I was putting videos up on YouTube where I was just going and stomping on vulnerable people for the lulz, that probably wouldn't end well for me either. I mean, probably very poorly. People would be going out and looking for me and looking to interfere with me when I'm out trying to do my thing, and that's probably not a winning combination. And that's kind of, one of the things that, sometimes people ask me about. Certainly, I still get a lot of direct messages through Spectrum and whatnot, people asking me questions. And, one of them is, you talk about, pirating NPCs, what about players and all that? Players is probably more a secondary thing. I'm really not all that keyed up on it. I mean, it's a lot of it has to do with the breeding of ill will and having other players come in and interfere with you when you're trying to get things done, that could be a big problem. And certainly, I mean, the internet has shown us time and time again that some people can hold a grudge for a really long time, and that could come back to bite you in the ass when you least expect it, or at the worst possible time. Once again, just to break into another topic here, really want to hear about better landing tools, because, you know, having to land these ships in third person sometimes is, in first person universe, not a great idea. But I digress. Now, of course, it might not sound all that exciting if you're thinking like, oh, so what? You're mainly going to focus on targeting NPCs. But the truth is, NPCs don't hold a grudge. It's easier to work with a system that has some predictability to it rather than one that can be completely random. And just going out there and breeding all kinds of ill will with people is probably, of course, not a great idea. I mean, if a player's flying around in the universe and all of a sudden, you know, an NPC freighter just disappears off the scanners, they may not think anything of it. They may just go, oh, well. But if a player gets attacked, then that player's going to know about it. That player's going to tell other people about it. They're going to tell other people who did it, why, when, and where. And then you may have to deal with the aftermath of that. Whereas, if it's an NPC, who are they going to tell, right? In the end, really, all it comes down to is just a simple question of how do I maximize my profitability while limiting my vulnerabilities, right? And this is kind of one of these situations where it's like, yeah, sure, I could just go in there and I could just blow things up and whatever happens is whatever happens. But, you know, I have a goal in mind in this case, which is, you know, getting my armor set back, getting all my firearms, getting all that cool stuff. But, you know, attacking this player might hamper that goal. Now, I could go in there, blow up the ship, but he's probably in there. Do I want to dig him out with a pistol with a wetsuit on? No, I don't want to. So what I'm going to do, wait it out a little bit, give him enough time to get in, get his goods, get gone, and then I'm going to go grab my stuff and do the same thing. Get out of there. And that's, you know, it's always kind of, I think, one of the more frequent misreads you see in the community, is certainly on the forums and whatnot when people are arguing about piracy. And I've always kind of found that to be almost like people are using something like, say, Call of Duty as their frame of reference for what the PU is going to be like. And I think that once the full weight of these actions is attached to them, once the full penalties are attached to them and the realistic time cost that comes along with having to get your ship back and having to do all these things, once these things really fully come into the game, you're going to see piracy a lot more about kind of keeping things quiet and keeping things on the DL and being, you know, very hush-hush about how we do things, and not so much being brazen and just going like, rah, watch me, you know, shoot all these people, rah, get wrecked, rah, 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 rah. I should probably use different terminology. I should probably go heavily on the euphemism so YouTube doesn't pick on me as much. Oh well, something for another day. But yeah, you know, when you have to look at it and say, you know, when the game is fully developed, you know, certain actions are obviously not going to profit you at all. And they're probably going to cost you more in the long run, especially like with me having a YouTube channel. If I was putting out videos where I'm just like, oh, this guy, ha ha ha, he was going in to buy some goods and then I stomped on him. And now I'm going to go stomp on this person. Now I'm going to stomp on that person. Now I'm going to lie in wait near all these places and wait for people to land. And then I'm going to just blow their stuff up and run away. Ha ha ha. You know, how long is that behavior actually going to last before it gets to a point where people are just sitting there looking for me and waiting for me just so they can put up a video saying, haha, I just stomped on this guy, right? And in the end, if I'm a pirate and I'm all about making money or I'm all about smuggling, whatever, showing these things off and trying to, you know, put these videos up and trying to brag them up, like, hey, everybody, validate me. Look at me, I'm an alpha. You know, all that kind of like BS behavior is really not going to get you anywhere. And you have to kind of manage a lot of things. Like, I would rather, I mean, it sounds funny saying it, especially on a YouTube video, but I would rather have people watch my videos and go, holy crap, I didn't even know that you were there doing that thing. Like, I was flying in and I, you know, about 20 kilometers away from Bountiful Harvest, I saw that crash ship and I saw those cutlasses around it, but everything kind of seemed on the up and up, and I was just trying to make a delivery, so I just kind of said, oh well. I had no idea that that was an NPC like Hull C that you had made crash, and then you were going in to basically clean up the whole wreck. I had no idea. I would rather have people watch the videos and have that be the takeaway than, you know, just making videos like, rah, look at me, I'm, you know, I'm tough, rah, 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 rah. Like, to me, that's just kind of like a waste of time. And in the end, you're just going to breed all kinds of ill will that's probably going to come back to haunt you brutally later on. In the end, when I look at ships like the Cutlass or the Buccaneer or the Caterpillar, you know, the traditional pirate ships, I don't really see pirate ships. I see kind of like unfinished ideas. Now, of course, you can have the Cutlass Black, you can have the Caterpillar Pirate, you can have the Buccaneer, but that's just a publicly available ship. I would rather see, you know, where we get with stealth modules in the future, like engines that are rated for stealth. You know, I know that that's kind of like a blanket term, and they're probably not going to say this is the stealth engine and the stealth gun and all that, but I want to see those types of modules, because I think that profitable pirate ships, good pirate ships, are probably going to be ships that are focused more on not being seen doing what they're doing, and then those penalties that they would pay in terms of combat performance, whether, you know, a stealthy shield module delivers less hit points or a stealthy engine maybe doesn't quite go as fast, the prices that they pay in those terms they would make up for in tactics. I think that would breed a better and smarter player than just you know, just saying, oh well, this is a pirate ship and it's got guns on it, go shoot things. You know, I think that kind of building some tactics into these things is probably going to end up breeding a better and much more successful pirate than, you know, just flat out, you know, going, well, we're going heavy on guns and let's see how many guns we can pack onto this thing. You know, I've always been more about the subtle approach than the brute force approach. It's probably why I play a rogue. I mean, you know, brutality when it's called for, but it should be executed in such a way that it happens so quickly that nobody even knows what's happening before it's already all over. That sort of thing. That's kind of where I would like to see things go more, or at least that's kind of where I would like to take them. That's kind of, you know, one of the things I always kind of found irksome about the Prowler was, in the end, what a wasted opportunity. I mean, if they had made it so that cargo area, or not really cargo area, that personnel area could be reconfigured to a cargo space so you could use that ship for smuggling too, what a great ship that would be. What an awesome ship. And I think a lot easier to swallow at that price tag had it had those options, rather than just delivering something like, no, it's this and it's fixed and this is all that it can do, and this, and it's just like, really, for that price tag? I don't know about that. That seems like kind of a waste. I'd be more interested in buying a Cutlass and spending the rest of the money on UEC to purchase modules in game that could make the Cutlass as stealthy as possible, rather than buy a Prowler. You know, it's you know, lately I kind of said, you know, here's what I would do with this ship, here's what I would do with that ship. Honestly, like, if I worked at CIG and they were saying like, oh, you're director of Drake, I would instantly be looking at, in the future, making a stealth version of the Cutlass, or at least an aftermarket package that you could purchase that could turn the Cutlass into a much stealthier platform. The same thing with the Buccaneer, and with the Caterpillar, possibly something like that, or maybe something that makes it a bit more of a mission control style ship than what it is right now. I would be looking more at exploring the ways to keep what you're doing with these ships in the dark, rather than trying to make them flashier or add like different graphics to them or stuff like that. That's where I would put my focus, on the quote-unquote primarily pirate ships. But anyways, that's my opinion on the matter. I mean, obviously different people will think about it different ways. It's just, in the future, what I would definitely like to see maybe is a little bit more fleshing out of modules, and the different modules that we can use, especially with our quote-unquote pirate ships, to keep what we do in the dark and to keep it hidden, rather than this kind of, I don't know, this almost, I want to say almost pedestrian approach to piracy that's in the universe right now, where it's kind of like everything's just out in the open, rather than having it kind of this sort of like kind of secret society type, or stealthy thing that's happening under people's noses that they don't know about, which I think would be probably a more realistic portrayal, right? But yeah, anyways, that's just my opinion on the matter, and hopefully we'll see some development on those modules and pirate gameplay in general in the near future. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.